Welcome to our History in Shadows channel, and be sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this.
Here's the Chasseurs Alpins on the Vosges front during the brutal winter of 1915 to 1916. These elite French mountain troops specialized in alpine warfare, fighting in freezing conditions along the Vosges mountains. Notice their distinctive blue uniforms and specialized equipment designed for high-altitude combat against German forces in this treacherous terrain. Meet Peter Freuchen, the legendary Danish explorer photographed here in 1947 by Irving Penn with his wife Dagmar. This man survived the impossible. He once carved a dagger from his frozen feces to escape an ice cave, amputated his own frost-bitten toes, and evaded Nazi execution during World War II. Pure survival legend. Here's Adolf Hitler attending the memorial service for Polish First Marshal Józef Pilsudski in Berlin on May 18, 1935. Pilsudski, Poland's founding father and military leader, had just died. This diplomatic gesture occurred during a brief period of non-aggression between Nazi Germany and Poland, just 4 years before Hitler would invade Poland in 1939. Here's an AB-41 armored car operating in German service through southern Italy in February 1944. This Italian-made reconnaissance vehicle was captured and repurposed by Wehrmacht forces after Italy's surrender. Notice the distinctive four-wheel drive design and turret-mounted cannon, perfect for patrolling Italy's mountainous terrain during the brutal Italian campaign of World War II. Here's an LCM landing craft mechanized pushing away from its troop transport, heading straight toward Iwo Jima's deadly shores on March 6, 1945. These flat-bottomed vessels carried American Marines directly into one of World War II's bloodiest battles. Can you imagine the tension as these soldiers approached the beach, knowing Japanese forces waited in fortified positions? Here's a remarkable gathering of European royalty in New York City on January 1, 1951. Former King Edward VIII of Britain, who abdicated in 1936 for Wallis Simpson, poses alongside former King Peter II of Yugoslavia and his wife Alexandra. Both kings had lost their thrones, Edward by choice for love, Peter through communist takeover after World War II. Here's Alfred Stieglitz's iconic photograph Winter Fifth Avenue captured in 1892, showing New York City's famous street during a blizzard. Notice the horse-drawn carriage struggling through heavy snow while pedestrians brave the storm. Stieglitz waited 3 hours in freezing conditions to capture this perfect moment, revolutionizing street photography and proving whether could create dramatic art. On December 11, 1964, legendary soul singer Sam Cooke was shot dead at a Los Angeles motel, wearing only a jacket and one shoe. The official story claimed justifiable homicide by the motel manager, but numerous inconsistencies in witness testimonies and crime scene evidence have fueled decades of speculation about what really happened that night. Here's notorious mobster Lucky Luciano photographed with his dog in Italy during 1958. After being deported from America in 1946, Luciano spent his final years in exile, living relatively quietly in Naples. The founder of modern organized crime and architect of the National Crime Syndicate died 4 years after this photo, far from the American empire he built. Here's another AB-41 armored car, this time captured by German forces and deployed somewhere in Yugoslavia between 1943 and 1945. After Italy's surrender in September 1943, Wehrmacht troops seized thousands of Italian military vehicles like this one. These reconnaissance vehicles proved valuable for Germany's brutal anti-partisan operations throughout the mountainous Yugoslav terrain during the occupation. Here's a Schwarzlose machine gun positioned in the dense forests of Volhynia, a contested region between modern-day Poland and Ukraine. This Austrian-designed water-cooled heavy machine gun was widely used during World War I by Austro-Hungarian forces. Notice how the crew has set up their defensive position among the trees, typical of the Eastern Front's brutal forest warfare conditions. Here's a wheelbarrow loaded with artillery shells being transported to the front lines during World War I. Each of these massive projectiles contained explosives designed to devastate enemy positions. The sheer volume of ammunition consumed during the war was staggering. Major battles could burn through millions of shells in just days, requiring constant resupply like this to sustain the relentless bombardments. Here's photographer Wayne Miller's striking image captured in Norman, Oklahoma during 1943, right in the heart of World War II. Miller, who would later become a renowned member of Magnum Photos, documented American life during wartime. This photograph captures a moment of everyday life in the Midwest while the nation mobilized for war, showing the home front's reality during this transformative period. Here's a Douglas Boston bomber from 24 Squadron of the South African Air Force stationed at Renars Wingfield Air Base in Cape Town during World War II. These American-made twin-engine attack aircraft were crucial for South African squadrons operating in North Africa and Mediterranean campaigns. Wingfield served as a major training and operational base for Commonwealth forces throughout the war years in southern Africa. Here's Canadian troops packed into their landing craft, heading toward Juno Beach on June 6, 1944, D-Day. These men from the 3rd Canadian Infantry Division faced brutal German defenses along their 5-mile stretch of Normandy coast. Despite taking heavy casualties, the Canadians penetrated deeper inland than any other Allied force that day, pushing nearly 7 miles into occupied France. Here's Mexican film star Dolores Del Rio draped in an elegant Augusta Bernard wrap, photographed by legendary artist Edward Steichen for Vogue in 1929. Del Rio was Hollywood's first major Latin American crossover star, captivating audiences during the silent era. Steichen's sophisticated composition captures the glamour and sophistication that made her an international icon during cinema's golden age. Here's Amir Habibullah Khan, ruler of Afghanistan, mounted on horseback in 1906. He reigned from 1901 to 1919, maintaining Afghanistan's independence while carefully navigating between British and Russian imperial ambitions during the Great Game. Habibullah modernized Afghanistan by establishing schools, hospitals, and infrastructure, though he was eventually assassinated in 1919 under mysterious circumstances during a hunting trip. Here are 7 Crow Nation chiefs gathered outside a building in Montana during 1887, a critical period when that traditional way of life faced intense pressure from American expansion. The Crow, known as Apsaluk in their language, were powerful plains warriors and horse traders. This photograph documents these leaders during the reservation era, just 7 years after the Battle of Little Bighorn occurred in their territory. Here's a column of Italian blackshirt militia troops advancing near the Donets River on the Eastern Front during mid-1942. These fascist volunteers fought alongside German forces during Operation Barbarossa's Second Summer Offensive. The brutal Eastern Front campaign would devastate Italian forces. Of the 230,000 Italians deployed to Russia, fewer than half returned home after facing Soviet counteroffensives and the catastrophic winter conditions. Here are German soldiers trapped in the Stalingrad cauldron during December 1942, surrounded by Soviet forces with no escape. Over 250,000 Wehrmacht and Axis troops were encircled after Operation Uranus cut them off from supply lines. Can you see the desperation in their faces, knowing they faced freezing temperatures, dwindling ammunition, and starvation while Hitler refused evacuation orders? Here's a winter scene captured in Zelenogradsk, known as Kranz in 1931 when it was part of East Prussia, Germany. This Baltic Sea resort town was famous for its beaches and spa culture during the interwar period. Notice the distinctive architecture and snowy landscape typical of this coastal region, which would later become part of Russia's Kaliningrad Oblast after World War II completely reshaped Eastern Europe's borders. Here are 3 Bosnian soldiers photographed at the front lines, likely during World War I when Bosnia was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. These troops from the Balkans served in some of the war's most brutal mountain campaigns against Serbian and Italian forces. Notice their distinctive uniforms and equipment, reflecting the multi-ethnic composition of Austria-Hungary's army during this catastrophic conflict that would ultimately destroy their empire. Here's the 24 Squadron South African Air Force encampment near Katonya, Sicily during the 1943 Allied invasion of Italy. After helping defeat Axis forces in North Africa, SAF squadrons pushed into Europe through Sicily's Operation Husky. These tent camps housed aircrews and ground personnel supporting bombing raids against retreating German forces, operating in harsh Mediterranean summer heat while maintaining their aircraft for daily combat missions. Here's the P-51 Mustang Little Sweetie 4, serial number 44 to 64051, from the 362nd Fighter Squadron, 357th Fighter Group, stationed at Leiston Airfield in England during 1945. This long-range fighter provided crucial escort protection for Allied bombers deep into German territory. The 357th Fighter Group became one of the war's top-scoring units, claiming over 600 enemy aircraft destroyed during the final year of fighting. Here are Effie and Avis Hotchkiss, mother and daughter who conquered 9,000 miles across America on a Harley-Davidson in 1915, the first women to complete such a transcontinental motorcycle journey. They battled mud-soaked roads, scorching heat, dangerous rattlesnakes, and constant tire failures that required stuffing blankets inside. Their groundbreaking adventure shattered expectations about what women could achieve in the early automotive age. Here are the graves of Imperial Light Horse soldiers at Bardia, Libya, marking one of World War II's early North African battles. In January 1941, Australian and British Commonwealth forces captured this Italian-held fortress town during Operation Compass. These South African cavalrymen, transformed into mechanized troops, fought and died in the desert campaigns that seesawed across Libya's harsh terrain for 3 brutal years. Here's a young boy watching Andy Pondei on Britain's experimental pay television system in April 1963. Notice the coin-operated meter on the right where families inserted sixpence coins for each hour of viewing. This failed experiment in coin-operated television required constant feeding of money, proving too inconvenient for British households who preferred the BBC's license fee system that still exists today. Here's the legendary cavalry charge at Izbushenski on August 24, 1942, led by Italy's elite Reggimento Savoia Cavalleria against Soviet positions. In what became the last major successful cavalry charge in military history, 600 Italian horsemen armed with sabers thundered across the Russian steppe, breaking through Red Army lines. This desperate World War I-style attack somehow succeeded against modern machine guns and artillery in 1942's mechanized warfare. Here's the Noonan family of Lawrence, Massachusetts during the 1920s, 15 people crowded together in what appears to be their modest home. Lawrence was a major textile manufacturing city filled with immigrant workers, predominantly Irish families like the Noonans. Large Catholic families were common during this era, though poverty, cramped living conditions, and dangerous factory work defined daily life for working-class industrial communities. Here's Muhammad Ali Jinnah, founder of Pakistan, shaking hands with Afghan soldiers at the Torkham border crossing in 1948, just 1 year after independence. This visit occurred during tense negotiations over the Durand Line, the disputed border between Pakistan and Afghanistan that Britain had drawn in 1893. Jinnah died just months after this photograph, leaving the contentious border issue unresolved between the two nations. Here's the railway station in Olsztyn, formerly known as Allenstein when this region was part of East Prussia, Germany. This architectural landmark served as a crucial transportation hub connecting East Prussia to the rest of Europe before World War II. After 1945, the city became part of Poland and the German population was expelled, transforming Olsztyn into a Polish city while this impressive station building survived the war's devastation. Here's Ayn Rand photographed in 1957, the same year she published Atlas Shrugged, her magnum opus promoting objectivism philosophy. Her controversial ideas championing rational self-interest, laissez-faire capitalism, and individual achievement over collectivism sparked fierce debate. Rand, born in Russia and escaping Soviet communism, built an influential following in America, though critics condemned her philosophy as justifying selfishness and dismissing altruism as weakness. Here's Captain Thomas Porter, far right, standing with pro-government Maori soldiers outside a stockade in New Zealand's Gisborne or Opotiki regions around 1870, likely members of the Ngātai tribe. During the New Zealand Wars, some Maori tribes allied with British colonial forces against other iwi resisting land confiscation. These complex intertribal conflicts divided Maori communities, with some fighting for the crown while others resisted colonial expansion. Meet Iqbal Mazi, sold into bonded labor at age 10 for a mere 600 rupee loan, earning just 1 rupee daily at a brutal Pakistani carpet factory. After escaping, he joined the Bonded Labor Liberation Front and helped free over 3,000 enslaved children from similar exploitation. Tragically, carpet industry assassins murdered him in 1995 at just 12 years old for threatening their profits built on child slavery. Here's photographer William Klein's striking image from Tokyo, Japan, captured in 1961. Klein, known for his raw, high-contrast style that rejected traditional photography rules, documented Tokyo during its rapid post-war transformation. This was just 17 years after World War II ended, as Japan experienced explosive economic growth and modernization that would soon make it the world's second-largest economy by the decade's end. Here's the Madsen light machine gun deployed by Austro-Hungarian forces during World War I. This Danish-designed weapon was one of the first true portable automatic rifles, adopted by over 30 countries. Notice its distinctive curved magazine mounted on top. The Madsen's reliability and lightweight design made it superior to heavier machine guns, allowing infantry squads greater mobility during mountain and trench warfare across the eastern and Italian fronts. Here lie the graves of Rand light infantry soldiers at Bardia, Libya, casualties of the fierce desert warfare in North Africa. This South African regiment participated in the January 1941 siege when Commonwealth forces stormed the Italian fortress, capturing 45,000 enemy troops. These headstones mark men who died fighting thousands of miles from home in Libya's scorching desert, part of the brutal back-and-forth campaigns that characterized North African combat.